Shalom, it's No Limit Eddie back with another video. You saw the thumbnail, you also saw the title. The other day I posted this video here. People were very opinionated in the comment section. We Belong in Africa made a comment on that post today, and that's actually what I'm going to be reacting to in today's video. If you don't know who I am, my name is No Limit Eddie. I'm a 23-year-old American who lives abroad full-time. Currently, I'm in the country of Egypt. I've been living in Africa now since I was 21, and I'll be 24 here in the next few months. If that sounds interesting to you, then subscribe to the channel. Yeah, We Belong in Africa left a comment on that video where he disagreed with certain points and agreed with certain points as well, I believe. And so I took down a couple of notes of the things that I wanted to respond to, because I believe this will be a great opportunity for me to explain a little bit more why I say the things that I say and why I believe the things that I believe. Right? And I think it'll help a lot of people out. And so that's why I'm going to make today's video, reacting to kind of his comment. So the first point that I want to mention, he says, I have to disagree with what you're saying about a person shouldn't have saved their way to Africa. And so we'll start off with that point. So he disagrees with my statements, which is my motto, which is you cannot save your way to Africa. You must earn your way to Africa. He disagrees with that statement. And I'm going to explain why I believe that statement to be true and why I recommend it to the people who are looking to come to Africa. Number one, the reason why I say you cannot save the way to Africa, you must earn it, is Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law states that it's a law of human nature, which states that human beings tend to consume all that they have in front of them. And so, for example, you get a bonus this week. You got more money this week than you normally get. Normally you go to Taco Bell, you go to, a restaurant, Jack in the Box, go to restaurants like that. This week you got a little bit more money. Okay, I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A this week, right? When you get more, you tend to spend more, right? When you save money, you save money up for something, some expense comes up. Something happens to your car, your transmission is bad. Now you got to fix your transmission. So all the money you had saved, that bonus money, somehow found a way to deplete itself, right? This is Parkinson's Law. We tend to consume all that we have in front of us. If somebody gives you a plate of food, you're going to fill that plate up with food. If that plate is 1 inch bigger, you're going to still fill up that plate. If a plate is 2 inches smaller, you're still going to fill up that plate, right? Whatever is in front of you, you're going to consume it all. And so when people come to the continent and they have, let's say, a lot of money saved, right? Whatever a lot of money is, the average American has, I think, less than $1,000 in savings. The average American would have a difficulty paying a $400 expense, right? Emergency expense. Okay, so let's say, for example, $50,000 saved. If somebody comes to the continent with $50,000 saved, they're going to live a lifestyle that is inflated to that $50,000 price point, right? So instead of living in a place that costs $500 a month, they're going to live in a place that's $1,000 per month, right? Instead of buying food, instead of spending $50 a month on food at the local restaurants, they're going to spend $500 a month on food at the more upscale restaurants. And so you're just going to increase, you're going to consume what you have. Doesn't matter how much money you come to the continent with, you're going to find a way to consume it all, right? So you're going to get involved in more expensive business ventures. And if you get scammed that business venture, it's going to be a more expensive scam, right? So the guy with $5,000, he might lose $500. The guy with $50,000 might lose $5,000, right? It's all going to be the same thing. Parkinson's Law, it just is a fact of life, right? You're going to consume all that you have in front of you. So no matter how much you save, you're going to find a way to spend it. It's okay to suggest tips and give different options out to people on how to thrive in Africa, but making people think that your way is the only way is very discouraging. So personally, I just stated the fact that, so he says that basically giving people only my way of going about it is discouraging. And so personally, this is what I like to say to that, right? The average person, like I said, has, I believe, less than $1,000 in savings and would have a difficulty paying a $400 emergency expense. So when people think about saving some amount of money to come to Africa with, they're usually thinking, let's say 50,000 is a number. They want to save $50,000. Well, the average American doesn't even have $1,000 saved. And so a lot of times when people put these numbers up, they never end up reaching them. You're watching this video and you probably never end up reaching those numbers, right? Not the guy in particular, but this is just people who are watching the video. People watch the video and they're going to say, they have 50,000. Okay, they made that goal in 2021. They didn't hit it. They made it in 2022. They didn't hit it. It's going to be the same thing in 2023. They're not going to hit it. Most people will never actually ever reach their savings goal because of what I talked about earlier, Parkinson's Law. But on top of that, right? On top of that, to me, it's far more encouraging to say earn your way to Africa. Don't say this. You never had more than 10,000 in your account. How are you going to get to this 50,000 number, right? So what if you can just say, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 a month in this country based off of the math, based off of the people that I talked to, based off of the consultations that I had. I'm going to spend $1,000 a month. Let me figure out how to earn 1.5x that every single month online. Okay, so I need to make $1,500 per month. You already made $1,500 per month before, right? At least I hope so. And so it's easier to accept that in your mind. Okay, I can do this. I just got to transition. I just got to make it in person, okay, and then make it online as well. So now, let's say you're making $1,500 from your job and $1,500 a month online. Now you actually do have more capital, number one, to save. But number two, you now have a consistent stream of cash flow that can travel with you, right? No matter where you go, your income can come with you, right? That to me is a lot more realistic. So let's say for me, an example, I moved out of America when I was 21. So if I was to say I have to wait to retire, which some people told me to do, wait to retirement until I'm 60, 65, which is no guarantee that I ever get there, 60, 65, to me that's discouraging. Wow, okay, so you're telling me I was 21, so I have to wait another 40 plus years before I can finally live the life that I want to live? That's discouraging to me, right? If I told someone, that's here, you have to save up 50,000 and you never have more than 5,000 in your account, that's discouraging, right? But if you know, hey, I'm making $2,000 a month for my job, I can conceptualize making $1,500 a month online for me to support myself over in Ghana. I can conceptualize that, right? That to me is far more encouraging, right? This is the next point. When all you know how to do is save money, when it comes time for you to earn money, you're gonna run into difficulties. You're gonna run into scarcity. You're gonna run into a lack mindset. You're gonna get into a position of panic and a position of fear, okay? Because if all you know how to do is punch in, punch out, and then you take your money that you did from punching in, punching out, and you saved it. Let's say you are a good saver. You take the money and you save it. Take the money and you save it. Take the money and you save it, and that's all you've been training yourself to do for the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. All you know how to do is save money. But the only way you can save money is from punching in, punching out, working a job. If that's your whole system, that's all you know how to do. When you get to the continent and you have a situation where you need to earn more money, you're gonna have no option but to go back to the States, And so, for example, I'll play this clip here.
And I'm in panic mode right now. I don't know what to do.
And going to he has a job offer in Tennessee, I believe, which he doesn't want to take, but he kind of alluded to the fact that he might have to take, right? And so if all you know how to do is kind of save money, when you need to earn more money, you're going to go back to default. I need to go back to the States and get a job, right? And I work with people all the time. I have sales calls all the time. If somebody comes to me, right, and this is the reason why I said, please do not save your way, but please earn your way. Like, let's say you're already earning money online and something comes up, which something will come up, where you need to earn more money. Your default should be, okay, if I'm doing 1 post a day, let me go to 10 posts a day. Let me increase the activity so that way I can increase the earning, right? And so I've had situations where I've lost a nice chunk of change in a very, very, very short period of time, and it left me in a position where I was like, okay, I need capital, right? I need capital. Now, my mind never at any point in time said, okay, I need to go back to the States and work and come back, because that never was my default. My default is I'm a money getting individual. I know how to get money. And so my thing was, okay, take some days, concentrate, focus, lock in, figure out what you're going to do to increase capital, right? And I went ahead and did what I need to do to increase capital, right? You can increase your RGA, revenue generating activity, right? And that's what I did. But if your RGA, your revenue generating activity, is working a job, when you need to make money, something will come up. It always will come up. In this guy's case, it was the passing of the mother of his child that came up, and that was the emergency that prompted him to, get into a position of having to spend more money than he expected to spend, right? And so now that has happened, right? Now that has happened, because his default is working, he has to go back. He doesn't have to go back. Let me not rephrase it, because people were hating on me in the comments. But now, you know, it's a chance that he's going to go back to work a job to then put himself in a better position financially, right? Is that PC? Is that politically correct enough? Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, so that's number 3. So number 1, why I don't recommend saving your way to Africa is Parkinson's Law. No matter how much you save, you're gonna increase your lifestyle to spend it. Number 2, to me, it's a faster way of getting there by earning your way. It's a lot easier to conceptualize earning $2,000 per month than saving $200,000 because the average person doesn't have any money saved. So to get to this exceptional number will be quite difficult. And it was actually not difficult. It's not difficult, but rather it's gonna be harder to conceptualize. Number 3, you will get to a point where you need to earn more money. You will get to that point. And when that point occurs, if all you know how to do is save money, you're going to be in a position of panic and you're going to be in a position of scarcity. I don't recommend people putting themselves in that position. Number 4, I'm going to play this clip right here.
Live really good. But a person like me, I have a smaller business. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but I have a smaller business that gives me enough US dollars for me to stay at home every day and do nothing.
Boom. So you can see, like, I don't know his actual first name, so I would like to know his first name. If you can comment that, let me know. Or if you want to be private with it, that's cool. He was very comfortable in saying, like, he's getting just a little bit of money and that's okay, that's enough. And so in the comment section, people were like, it's his kid's fault, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. And one of my core beliefs and my core tenets is everything that happens to you in your life is your fault. So if you can look back and adjust. So I think now, looking back and adjusting, he can probably say to himself, right? And he seems like a person who holds himself accountable. He seems like a person who's very disciplined. He seems like a person who is very level-headed. And so I believe he can look back and see that if he wanted to take accountability and make everything his fault, he can see that maybe that mentality wasn't the right mentality to have. One of the things that I don't really like about the saving aspect is it can give someone a false sense of illusion, a false sense of safety, sorry. And what could happen is somebody has this nut saved, they have this money, okay, boom, parked up right here, and it makes them in the state of, I speak in a very kind of upfront tone, so I'm not calling this guy this, but I'm saying this is what I've seen to occur, right? And so when you have this money here, it can put you in a state of slothfulness, right? And I've noticed that when you come to the continent, those people who kind of just get slothful or get lazy and kind of stop pursuing success or greatness or stop pursuing impact, that might be the word. Eventually they get to a situation, they only get spurred into action by a dramatic scene, by a dramatic incident, by something that forces them to get up and get to it. And by that time, like I said, now your mindset is in a position of lack. It's in a position of scarcity. Oh my goodness, my money is depleting. I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do this. And so you get into a position of scarcity. And so what really happens is you go back to the other point that I made about where you need to earn money, and all you know how to do to earn money is work a job and save, work a job and save. What are you going to default to when things get tough? Work a job and save, right? People default back to their natural state in times of emergencies, right? Kind of my mindset around these things. So that's why you should earn your way to Africa, not save your way to Africa. That's my core tenet. Next point in this comment that I want to react to. As well as telling people they shouldn't build a home here to cancel rent. People have rented all their life in America. Why move to a third world country with those same rental habits? There's nothing wrong with having an asset because they can be sold also. Okay, cool. Second point to the comment that I want to react to. Renting, why come to America? Why come to another country still keeping the renting habit? Let's talk about that. Asset that can be sold. Now this is a very interesting concept, right? I believe most Americans, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, every American brought up with the American dream has been sold a lie about our home being our greatest asset. I don't believe a home is your greatest asset. I don't really believe that I really don't believe most people benefit from owning a home. I think most people suffer more from owning a home than they do benefit. And so let's talk about it being an asset. And you said like it could be sold later on, right? And again, this video is not me like going against this guy. It's just me sharing my thoughts and my beliefs, which hopefully other people can benefit from. So the premise of the home being an asset is that it has a value. Okay. Now this value is a paper value, right? Because what something is worth is what someone will pay for it. And so because no one has paid you for your house, its worth is only existence theoretically. Now, in essence, let me see if I can simplify that even more. For your house to be worth something, someone must buy it from you. Boom, got it. For your house to be worth something, someone must buy it from you. Now, when you were in Ghana and you were looking for homes, there were pre-built homes available for you to buy. You probably chose not to go, and again, not just for the guy I'm responding to in the comments, like we belong in Africa. I don't know his actual name, but this is for everyone who is like house. I want to challenge your thinking on this. There were pre-built homes for you to purchase in Ghana. You opted not to purchase one of those pre-built homes, but rather to build your own. For one reason or whatever, for whatever reason. If someone, let's say you spent $100,000 to build your house, you deem it to be worth $200,000, theoretical paper equity, $200,000. If someone has $200,000 to spend on a house, why would they then spend that $200,000 to buy your house when they can then just take $100,000 out of that $200,000 and build their own house the same way you built yours, but they can build it customized to them, right? And so an asset, so you believe it's an asset because it can be sold later on, but for it to be sold, someone has to buy it. For someone to buy it, they have to say, this house is worth, this house, and you probably want more money, or at least the same amount of money that you spent to build the house. So if they're going to spend the same amount of money that you spent to build the house, why not just build it themselves, right? And so this is an interesting concept. Most people who go into the continent are not going to buy a pre-built house, they're going to build their own house. And so it's interesting is like, sure, it could be worth money, but for it to be worth money, someone has to actually be willing to buy it, or somebody has to buy it, right? That's how you know what the item is truly worth. So that's an interesting concept as well, about it being an asset and it not being an asset. And I know in Africa, the mentality is I want to own my own home, right? And Africans themselves want to build their own home up. And so pre-built homes, or home that's already been built, especially built to your specifications, why would somebody purchase that when they can just go out and build their own, right? And so that's an interesting concept. Another thing is, houses are not, like a way of saying this is that houses are not very liquid, right? Houses are not very liquid. The word currency comes from the word current. Don't cross that ocean. Don't cross the river. A current is too strong. Money is meant to flow. Money is meant to continue to move forward and backwards between hands, to different people, right? It's meant to flow and to crash. So money is always meant to be moving. At least that's my belief. Return on a house can be, I would say, non-existent a lot of times, right? And like I said, it's theoretical. It's paper. Especially in a land like Africa, where people will prefer to build a house versus buying one already pre-built. It's videos like this that deter people away from moving to Africa. All right, perfect. So he says that my video deters people from coming to Africa. Now, interestingly enough, my whole point is to deter people from coming to Africa, right? That's why I make these videos. I want to deter people from coming to Africa. Wait, you want to deter people from coming to Africa, but you have what Africa be easier on your head? You tell people that it's nice, that is peaceful? Yes, my goal is to deter people from coming to Africa. Let me explain this. Energy, I can save you all the embarrassment, I can save you the time, I can save you the regret, I can save you the resentment that you're gonna have. If I can save you from all that, I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy. Because I understand that we in a black community have a very, 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 very bad habit of letting people crash out, and knowing that the direction they'll be led into will not be good for them, but letting them happen. And let's say, for example, black men growing up as a kid in the hood, going to jail was something that people respected. Going to jail was something that people wanted to do. I want to go to jail, because we believe that made you like, you get welcome home party. You are an official gangster now. You somebody with respect. But nobody tells you, bro, like that, the people who go to prison come back and they keep the front on. Yeah, I was in there. I held it down. I didn't say nothing. They make that a good thing. And people aspire to go to prison as youths. letting people crash out and burn. People don't come back and say, yo, prison is gay, bro. Like, you gotta get naked and bend over and cough and all this weird stuff. A next man telling you to wake up and go to bed and you showering next to all these. People don't tell you that type of stuff, right? That's an example on black men. We let other black men crash out and we don't say anything about it. We encourage it. And so I want to prevent that. I don't like that type of weird stuff. Like I know if you come here, and I know if my video can prevent you from coming to Africa, you don't have the resolve to even make it in Africa once you come here. So if I can stop it before you even do it, awesome. All right. Simultaneously to that, let's say, for example, in black women will be a single mother, okay? They will hate their child. They will resent their child for ruining their life. They will resent the man for leaving them. They will hate society. They'll hate the world. They hate all these people, but then they'll allow their daughters, their nieces, their nephews, they'll encourage them to also become single mothers. Knowing that they're gonna wreck and crash out, knowing that if they could change their decision, they would change their decision. But instead of informing the youth, instead of informing the next generation, they just let them crash out. Right? And so we have a weird habit of doing that. And so I don't come here to paint you a fairy tale and a picture that, yo, come to Africa, like you gonna love it. Everybody's gonna embrace you. They're gonna put rose flowers down. Like, my goal is to be the most negative person in the whole African space, because I believe there's so much positivity, which is great, but sometimes it's so much positivity that it can begin to cloud out. Like, I've heard people say, like, oh, I don't believe there was even crime in Africa. I don't believe there was crime in Tanzania, where people are getting robbed left and right in these countries. But people don't even see that. People don't hear that, because we as a community have decided we will not report anything bad about Africa. But the problem is, we begin to determine what is real to also be what is bad. And so my goal is to present the reality, to present both sides, talk about the good, why I'm still here. Clearly, I live in Africa for a reason. I enjoy it, right? Definitely more than I would in the States. However, I'm also here to tell you, like, here's the reality of it, right? Like there's some dark sides of it. There's some pain involved. There's some struggle involved. There's some fighting involved. There's some ways you gotta move to sustain yourself, to maintain yourself, right? There's some certain things you have to do. There's certain mindset you have to have. I'm here to present both sides of that, and not just let people come and crash out or wreck out because of these small little things, right? So people get discouraged from watching my videos. I feel like I've done a good job. And if people who watch my videos and they take it in stride, like, okay, let me learn from bro. Clearly he knows one or two things. You know what I mean? You can't really tell that many people who hunter knife and budlong, homicide capital overlay, Section 8, EBT, welfare, WIC, grew up on all those type of things, who now lives full time on the continent. I can go to anywhere I want to at this moment in time, and I'll be okay. You know what I mean? Because as long as I have my phone and my laptop, you know what I mean? Cash flow is coming in. And so that's just one of the things that I wanted to say, you know what I mean? Is if I can deter people, I'm grateful for it. Because this then comes back down to the ethnic image. You know, when you have people come to these countries and getting sent back by the U.S. Embassy, or when you have somebody who made a big fuss, I'm leaving, I'm never coming back, they tell their friends, tell their families, and they end up having to go back. They end up having to call those same family members that they cussed out and said, I'm leaving, and ask them for money, beg them for money. What happens then, right? Think about the ethnic image. When somebody getting shipped back by the embassy, now when I'm trying to go into that country, immigrate through their visa control, their passport control, they're gonna be like, oh, you're another one of those black Americans. I'm gonna give you less time, give you a reduced time to make sure you get out of this country, make sure you can afford to get in, to get out, right? We're gonna run into those issues. When you had to go back and call your family, what they gonna say next time somebody else in the family tries to do it? You know what happened when Johnny did it? Now you're gonna be used as an example of why you shouldn't. Right? And so if I can prevent that, if I can help to shift that, you know what I mean? I think we can improve the ethnic image. If black people just cared about black people enough to tell them the truth, I think we'll be in a better position. If black men say, yo, prison is gay as heck, bro, don't go to prison, I think we'll be a lot farther along. If black women told other black women, yo, this single motherhood stuff is for the birds, I think we'll be a lot farther along as a community and as a people, right? And so these are some of the reasoning, these are some of the logics behind the way that I think, speaking of that, people were in the comments talking about his children are bad and all that type of stuff. I think we should be mindful of that. We should be careful of that, because the children are going to be the reflection of the parents. And so to say he has bad kids would mean to say that he's a bad father. And we know that black people, black men in particular, are already labeled as bad fathers. And so that's why in my original video, I made sure not to insinuate anything about the children, because I don't have children. I can't really speak on that. And on top of that, I'm not here to continue to perpetuate stereotypes that do not serve us. Do not serve us anymore. And so, yeah, be mindful of that, guys. You know, that's what I would say. Other than that, guys, hopefully today's video was insightful. Hopefully today's video was useful to you. You know, we belong in Africa. Again, like, this is not me like, you know, saying your way is wrong. This is not me saying that your mentality is a bad mentality. This is not me saying that my way is better than your way. You know, this is again just me saying, like, if I didn't see 10 people burn their hands on the stove, I'm gonna make sure to say, hey, before the next person go up to touch that stove, don't touch that stove, bro. Well, I don't recommend you touch the stove. You know what I mean? Because I've seen X amount of people get wrecked doing that, So that's kind of my way of thinking. Like, I've seen a lot of people who try to come with the savior mentality, who like, I'm building the house mentality, who come with all these mentalities, and it typically, I have not ever seen it pan out without them also having a source of income online. That's just me, right? And so that's my whole mentality with it, you know. Yeah, but other than that, man, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all willing, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like today's video, you know. See you guys in the next one, y'all willing. Shalom.